I found myself eating a birthday cupcake alone at 32, staring at my family's Facebook posts celebrating my sister's promotion party, happening on my birthday without me knowing it existed. The cupcake had a single candle, vanilla frosting, chocolate base, store-bought from the corner deli because I'd forgotten it was my birthday until 6 p.m. when the work celebration for landing the Morrison account finally ended. 32 years old, PR director at one of Chicago's top firms, 6-figure salary, corner office with a view of the lake. And I was celebrating alone with a 3 cupcake while my phone sat silent on the kitchen counter. I made a wish, the same one I'd been making since I was 7, and blew out the flame. The apartment felt bigger in the silence. 3 bedrooms, hardwood floors, the kind of place that should host dinner parties and game nights. Instead, it echoed with the sound of one person's footsteps and the hum of premium appliances that rarely got used for anything more elaborate than reheating takeout. My laptop chimed. Facebook notification. My heart did that stupid hopeful skip it always did. Maybe someone remembered. The notification was a tag from my college roommate Mike. "Happy birthday, man. Hope you're celebrating properly." Celebrating properly. I looked at my cupcake, at the empty wine bottle from last night's client dinner, at the stack of work files on my dining table. I opened Facebook to thank Mike and froze. The first post in my feed was from Mom. "So proud of our Sarah, just got promoted to senior partner at her law firm. She deserves all the success in the world. Proud mom, my daughter." Below it, a carousel of photos. Sarah in a black dress, champagne flute raised, surrounded by colleagues and family. Dad's arm around her shoulders, both of them beaming. Mom holding a cake that read, "Congratulations, Sarah." The private dining room at Gibson's, the restaurant where we'd had every major celebration for the past decade. The timestamp showed the photos were posted an hour ago. The party was tonight. My birthday, and I wasn't just not invited, I hadn't even known it was happening. I scrolled down, photo after photo. Sarah's law partners, her boyfriend David, our cousins from Wisconsin, even Uncle Jim was there, the one who claimed he doesn't do social events anymore. No mention of my birthday in any caption. No celebrating 2 wins today, or birthday boy couldn't make it. Nothing, as if March 15th was just another Tuesday that happened to be convenient for Sarah's party. My phone buzzed, Mom calling. For a split second, that pathetic, hopeful part of me thought, she remembered. She's calling to explain, to invite me over for cake. "Hi, Mom." "Alex, honey, I need a favor. Sarah's promotion party was such a success, but the photographer was terrible. Could you work your PR magic and get us better photos? Maybe write a nice piece about it for your connections in the media. You know how these things work better than we do." I stared at my cupcake. The candle had burned down to the frosting, leaving a small black crater. "It's my birthday, Mom." Silence. Then, oh, sweetie, of course it is. Happy birthday. We were so caught up with Sarah's big news. You understand? Do I? Alex, don't be dramatic. You know how proud we are of you. Sarah's been working toward this partnership for years. It's a really big deal. And my birthday. Well, birthdays happen every year, honey. Partnerships like this are once in a lifetime. I hung up. I sat there in my expensive apartment, looking at my expensive things, thinking about my expensive life that apparently wasn't worth remembering unless someone needed a favor. 32 years. How many birthdays had been overshadowed by Sarah's achievements? How many of my milestones had been footnotes to her story? I picked up my laptop and started typing, "Thank you to everyone who remembered my birthday today. It means more than you know." Then I deleted it, because the truth was, only 3 people had remembered. Mike, my assistant Jennifer, and my dentist's office with an automated reminder. Instead, I opened my work email and checked the Morrison account bonus confirmation, $82,000. The biggest single payout of my career. Money that was supposed to feel like validation. It felt like evidence that I could succeed at everything except getting my own family to notice I existed. I finished the cupcake and opened a bottle of wine. Good wine, the kind I usually saved for special occasions that never came. Tonight felt special enough, not because it was my birthday, but because it was the night I stopped waiting for other people to make it special. I woke up with a wine headache and 17 missed calls from Mom. The first voicemail was damage control. "Alex, honey, I feel terrible about last night. Can we talk?" The second was more urgent. "Your father wants to know why you're not answering. We're worried." By the 7th, she was crying, "Please call us back. We love you. You know we love you." Love. The word felt foreign when it came from her voice. I made coffee and sat on my balcony, looking out at Lake Michigan. The water was grey and choppy, matching my mood. March in Chicago, still winter pretending it might become spring. My phone buzzed. Sarah. Alex, what the hell? Mom's been up all night crying. She thinks you hate us. Do you know what yesterday was, Sarah? Your birthday, obviously. Look, I'm sorry we didn't. When's my birthday, Sarah? Silence. March 15th? Lucky guess. When did I graduate college? Alex, this is ridiculous. When did I get my promotion to PR director? When did I buy this apartment? When did I win the Stevie Award for the Hamilton campaign? I don't. Alex, I don't understand what you're trying to prove. I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm trying to understand something. I took a sip of coffee. It was bitter. Perfect. Tell me about your promotion. When did you find out? Last Friday. Why? And you planned the party when? Saturday morning. We wanted to do it quickly before... She stopped. Before what? Before people forgot or got busy with other things. Other things, like her brother's birthday. Sarah, in 32 years, how many of my birthdays have you attended? That's not fair. We've all been busy. How many, Sarah? Another long pause. I don't know. Some of them. 3. You've attended 3 of my birthday celebrations in 32 years. I can name them. My 7th, when Mom made you come. My 21st, when you happened to be home from law school. And my 28th, when it was at that restaurant you wanted to try anyway. Alex, I've attended every single one of your birthday parties since we were kids. Every graduation, every promotion celebration, every engagement party, housewarming, bar exam, pass celebration, every milestone you've ever had. Why are you keeping score? Because someone should. I hung up and went inside. In my bedroom closet, behind the winter coats, was a box I rarely opened. Photo albums, birthday cards, newspaper clippings. The evidence of a life lived in parallel to my family's attention. I pulled out my high school graduation photos. Sarah had missed the ceremony. College orientation week. The photos showed me with friends, teachers, distant relatives. Mom and Dad were there, but they looked distracted. Dad kept checking his watch. Mom was already talking about Sarah's upcoming sorority rush. College graduation. Sarah had a law school exam. She'd sent a card. My first apartment. Sarah was studying for the bar exam. My promotion to senior account executive. Sarah had just started at her firm. My PR director promotion. Sarah was getting engaged. The Morrison account victory, the biggest win of my career, had happened the same week Sarah was up for partner. 32 years of playing second fiddle to a sister who didn't even know the song. I called in sick to work, first time in 3 years. Jennifer, my assistant, was concerned. Are you okay, Alex? You never take sick days. I'm fine, just need some time to think. About what? Good question. What was I thinking about? Was I planning to confront them? Demand apologies? Stage some kind of intervention? No, I was thinking about the $82,000 sitting in my bank account, money that represented months of 18-hour days, weekend work sessions, client dinners where I smiled until my face hurt. Money that was mine, earned by me, for me. I opened my laptop and started browsing real estate listings. Not apartments in Chicago, houses far from Chicago. Lake houses in Michigan, cabins in Wisconsin. Places where my phone might not ring every time someone needed a favor. Places where the silence would be peaceful instead of lonely. A listing caught my eye. Stunning lakefront property in Traverse City, Michigan. 3BR2BA. Private dock. $340,000. The photos showed a house that looked like peace. Wood beams, stone fireplace, windows that faced the water instead of the city. A place where birthday cupcakes could be eaten on a deck with a view instead of in an empty apartment with an echo. I clicked Schedule Viewing. For the first time in months, I felt something that wasn't resignation or anger. I felt possibility. The house was perfect. I drove the 3 hours to Traverse City on Thursday, telling myself I was just looking. The realtor, a cheerful woman named Janet, met me at the property with coffee and enthusiasm. You picked a great day to visit, she said as we walked up to the front door. The lake's like glass this morning. She was right. Lake Michigan stretched out endlessly, the water so still it looked like a mirror. The house sat on a small bluff, private and quiet, surrounded by mature pine trees that blocked the view of any neighbors. Inside, everything was clean lines and natural light. The living room had floor-to-ceiling windows facing the lake. The kitchen was compact but well-designed. The master bedroom had a balcony where you could drink coffee and watch the sunrise over the water. The owners are motivated to sell, Janet said as we stood on the deck. They're relocating to Florida. They'd accept a cash offer. Cash offer. I had enough for the down payment, and my Chicago apartment would cover the rest. I could work remotely most days. The few clients who required face-to-face meetings could handle a 3-hour drive or a video call. I'll take it, I said. Janet blinked. Don't you want to see the basement? The attic? Have an inspection? I'll take it, I repeated. Full asking price. Cash deal. How quickly can we close? 2 weeks later, I was signing papers in a title company office in Traverse City. The $82,000 bonus went to the down payment. The rest came from the equity in my Chicago place, which I'd put on the market without telling anyone in my family. I posted one photo on Facebook, me sitting on the deck of my new house, holding a glass of wine, with the caption, "New chapter, new view, new life." My phone exploded. Mom called first. "Alex, what is this? Did you buy a house, without telling us?" "I did." "Where? How? Why didn't you ask for our advice?" "Because I didn't need it." "Honey, this seems impulsive. Are you sure you can afford?" "I can afford it, Mom. I used the bonus from the Morrison account." "What bonus?" Of course she didn't know about the bonus. She didn't know about the Morrison account either, even though it had been the focus of my life for 6 months. The $82,000 bonus from the biggest client win of my career. Silence. 82,000. Alex, that's wonderful. Why didn't you tell us? I did tell you, 3 times. You said that's nice, honey, and changed the subject to Sarah's caseload. Dad called next. His approach was more direct. Alex, your mother is hysterical. What's this about a house? I bought a house, Dad. In Michigan. What about your apartment? Your job? I kept my job. I sold my apartment. Without asking us. I'm 32, Dad. I don't need permission to buy a house. That's not what I meant. We could have helped. Given you advice. Your mother knows a good realtor. I had a good realtor. Alex, this seems... He paused, searching for the word. Reactive. Reactive. Not decisive. Not independent. Reactive. Maybe it is reactive, Dad. Maybe I'm reacting to 32 years of being treated like a side character in my own family. What does that mean? It means I'm done waiting for you to notice that I exist. Sarah's call came at midnight. Alex, you're scaring everyone. Mum thinks you're having a breakdown. I'm having a breakthrough. Same thing sometimes. Look, if this is about the birthday thing, it's not about the birthday thing, Sarah. It's about the lifetime thing. What lifetime thing? I was lying in my new bedroom, looking out at the lake. Moonlight made a silver path across the water. It was the most peaceful I'd felt in years. Do you know what I do for a living, Sarah? You're in PR. What kind of PR? What clients? What projects? Corporate stuff? I manage public relations for Fortune 500 companies. I've won 3 national awards. I've been quoted in Forbes, Harvard Business Review, and the Wall Street Journal. Last month, I prevented a $50 million lawsuit from destroying a client's reputation. That's impressive. You don't know any of that, do you? I know you're successful. No, you know I'm employed. You don't know I'm successful because you've never asked. Alex, when was the last time you asked me about my work? Not how's work? When did you last ask me about a specific project or client or challenge I was facing? Long silence. I don't know. Neither do I, because it's never happened. I could hear her crying softly. Part of me felt bad, the larger part felt free. I bought the house because I realized something, I said. I've been waiting 32 years for my family to see me. Really see me. Not as Sarah's brother or your backup plan when you need something done, but as Alex, as me. We do see you. You see a convenient person who shows up when you need him and disappears when you don't. You see someone who doesn't require maintenance or attention or celebration. That's not true. Prove it. After I hung up, I sat on my deck in the cold March air and felt something I hadn't felt in years. The absence of that constant low-level anxiety that came from always waiting for someone to notice I existed. For the first time in my life, I wasn't waiting anymore. They staged an intervention. I came back to Chicago for a client meeting and found them all in my building's lobby at 8 a.m. on a Tuesday. Mum, Dad, Sarah, and inexplicably, Uncle Jim, who claimed he didn't drive in the city anymore. We need to talk, Dad said, blocking the elevator. I'm late for a meeting. Cancel it, Mum said. Her eyes were red. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. I'm not cancelling a meeting with a Fortune 500 client because you decided to ambush me in my own building. Alex, Sarah stepped forward, using her lawyer voice. We're worried about you. This behavior is erratic. The house, the isolation, refusing to return calls. I return calls. I just don't return them immediately anymore. You used to answer on the first ring, Mum said. Now it takes days. Because I have a life now. Sitting alone in a house in the middle of nowhere isn't a life, Uncle Jim chimed in. It's depression. I stared at him. Uncle Jim, who had missed every family gathering for 5 years until Sarah's promotion party materialized a cake and champagne. When's my birthday, Uncle Jim? He looked confused. What kind of question is that? A simple one. When's my birthday? He looked at Mom, then Dad, then Sarah. I don't. That's not the point. It's March 15th, the day you came to Sarah's party. The day none of you remembered was my birthday until I had to remind you. Alex, Dad's voice had an edge now. This victim mentality isn't helping anyone. Victim mentality. The words hit like a slap. Okay, I said, let's go upstairs, let's talk. In my empty apartment, most of the furniture was already in Michigan. They sat on the few remaining chairs like a tribunal. I stood by the window, looking out at the city I was leaving behind. We love you, Mum started. We've always loved you. Show me. What? I went to the closet and pulled out the box I'd been avoiding for weeks. Photo albums, cards, newspaper clippings. The evidence of my invisible life. Show me where you love me. I opened the first photo album, my high school graduation. Sarah missed this because of college orientation. See this photo? I pointed to a picture of me with my diploma standing alone. I asked you to be in it with me. You said you needed to call Sarah to see how orientation was going. I flipped pages. College graduation. Sarah had a law school exam. Here's the photo of me with my diploma. Alone again because you were on the phone with Sarah's law professor discussing her study schedule. Alex, stop, Mom whispered. My first apartment. A photo of me with keys, grinning. Sarah was studying for the bar exam. You came for 10 minutes, said it was nice enough, and left to help Sarah with flashcards. I pulled out a folder of newspaper clippings. Here's the article about my Stevie Award. Did you read it? Silence. Here's the piece in Forbes where they quoted me extensively about crisis management. Did you see it? More silence. Here's the Harvard Business Review article I wrote about authentic corporate communication. 6,000 words, published in one of the most prestigious business journals in the world. Did you know I wrote it? Mum was crying now. We don't. We don't understand that world. You understood Sarah's world enough to attend every law school event, every bar exam celebration, every case victory party. I pulled out a spreadsheet I'd printed the night before. I documented the last 5 years, family events attended, phone calls made, visits initiated, gifts given, emergencies I helped with, favors I did. I handed it to Dad. Your column versus Sarah's column. Dad stared at the numbers. His face went pale. This is what loving me looks like according to your actions, I said. Sarah gets remembered, celebrated, prioritized, supported. I get utilized. That's not fair, Sarah said, but her voice was shaky. You're right, it's not fair. It's been profoundly unfair for 32 years. What do you want from us? Dad asked quietly. Nothing. They looked confused. I don't want anything from you anymore. I wanted recognition, celebration, priority, consideration. But I don't want it anymore. Why not? Mum asked through tears. Because I realized something when I bought that house. I was waiting for you to make me feel valuable. But I'm already valuable. I don't need your validation to prove it. So that's it? Sarah stood up. You're just done with us? I'm done waiting for you to love me the way you love each other. I'm done being the person you call when you need something and forget when you don't. I walked to the door and opened it. I have a client meeting. You can see yourselves out. Alex, Mum reached for me. Happy birthday, Mum, I said. It's next month, April 18th. Mark your calendar because for the first time in years, I won't be calling to remind you. After they left, I sat in my empty apartment and realized something. I didn't feel victorious. I felt empty. But it was a clean empty. Like a room that had been cleared of clutter, ready for something new. The silence lasted 2 weeks. No calls, no texts, no Facebook comments on my posts about lake life and morning coffee on the deck. It was like I'd disappeared from their world entirely, which was ironic since I'd been invisible to them all along. I threw myself into work. Remote meetings from my deck, strategy sessions via video call, client presentations delivered from my home office with the lake sparkling in the background. My clients loved the authentic Michigan backdrop. 3 new prospects reached out after seeing my setup on video calls. You look different, my client Rebecca Martinez observed during a Wednesday morning call. More settled. Settled, I like that word. Jennifer, my assistant, noticed too. Your emails are different, she said during our weekly check-in call. More decisive, less apologetic. Apologetic. Had I been apologizing for my own existence? The breakthrough came on a Saturday morning. I was drinking coffee on the deck, watching a family of loons swim near my dock, when my phone rang. Unknown number. Is this Alex Weber? Yes. This is Dr. Richard Chen from Northwestern University. I'm calling about your Harvard Business Review article on authentic corporate communication. My heart stopped. Yes? I'm developing a graduate-level course on crisis communication, and I'd like to invite you to be a guest lecturer. We're also considering your article as required reading for our MBA program. Northwestern University. One of the top business schools in the country wanted my work as required reading. I'd be honored, I said. Excellent. Would you be available to visit campus next month? We'd love to discuss a more formal relationship, perhaps a visiting professorship. After I hung up, I sat staring at the lake. A visiting professorship, at Northwestern, based on my own work, my own expertise, my own value. I called Mike, my college roommate. Dude, that's incredible. You're going to be Professor Weber. It's just a guest lecture. Stop. Mike's voice was firm. Stop minimizing your own success. This is huge. When's the lecture? April 15th. Your birthday month. That's perfect. Are you going to tell your family? I paused. I don't know. Alex, I know things are complicated right now, but this is the kind of thing families should know about. That night, I drafted 3 different Facebook posts about the Northwestern opportunity. I deleted them all. Instead, I called Dr. Chen back. I want to accept the visiting professorship, I said, if you're serious about the offer. We're very serious. When can you start? This fall, but I have one condition. What's that? I want to develop the entire course myself. Crisis communication, authentic corporate messaging, and personal brand integrity. 3 modules, 12 weeks. That's ambitious. I've been thinking about it my whole career. We talked for 2 hours. By the end of the call, I had a contract offer, a course outline, and a title. Visiting Professor of Strategic Communication, Professor Weber. I walked out onto my deck and looked at the lake. The sun was setting, turning the water orange and pink. A loon called in the distance, and its mate answered. For the first time in my life, I understood what it felt like to be seen for who I actually was, not who someone needed me to be. My phone buzzed, a text from Sarah. Mum's birthday is next week. Are you coming? I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed back, send her my love. I have a prior commitment. It wasn't true. I had no prior commitment, but I had a prior commitment to myself. And for the first time in 32 years, that felt like enough. The Northwestern lecture was a triumph. 87 MBA students, 12 faculty members, and a room so quiet you could hear laptops humming. I talked for 90 minutes about authentic communication, using real case studies from my career, including the Morrison account that had funded my escape to Michigan. During the QA, a student asked, Professor Weber, how do you maintain authenticity when the people closest to you don't understand your work? The question hit differently than expected. You realize, I said slowly, that understanding is a choice. Some people choose not to understand because it's easier than acknowledging they've been wrong. After the lecture, Dr. Chen introduced me to the dean, 2 department heads, and a journalist from Crane's Chicago Business who was writing a piece on innovative business education. We'd like to fast-track your visiting professorship, the dean said over dinner. Start this summer instead of fall. We're expanding our executive education program. Executive education, teaching seasoned professionals, not just students. I accept. The journalist interviewed me for 40 minutes. Your approach to crisis communication is refreshing, she said. Most consultants focus on damage control. You focus on authentic transformation. The article came out 2 weeks later. From corporate crisis to academic success. How one PR executive transformed failure into teaching gold. Mike called immediately. Did you see it? You're quoted as an emerging thought leader in authentic business communication. Your parents must be losing their minds with pride. They haven't seen it. What do you mean they haven't seen it? It's in Crane's. Your dad reads Crane's religiously. I didn't send it to them. Silence. Then, Alex, this is huge. This is the kind of thing that ends up framed on parents' walls. Maybe, but I'm not responsible for their reactions anymore. The university offered me a permanent position that summer. Associate Professor of Strategic Communication, full benefits, research budget, sabbatical eligibility. Everything I'd never known I wanted. I accepted immediately. My Michigan house became my sanctuary. Morning coffee on the deck, evening wine by the fire pit. Weekend kayaking trips across the lake. Neighbors who knew me as the professor with the cute yellow lab. I'd adopted Rex from a local shelter, not Sarah's brother who works in PR. Rex was a revelation. Unconditional enthusiasm, loyalty without conditions, joy that wasn't dependent on anyone else's approval. He celebrated my morning coffee routine like it was a daily miracle. He greeted me every evening like I was the most important person in his universe. Dogs are excellent judges of character. My neighbor Janet, different Janet than the realtor, observed while watching Rex fetch sticks from the lake. They don't care about your family drama or your job title. They just care about how you treat them. How you treat them. Simple. My Facebook posts evolved too. Less documentation of professional success, more celebration of daily joy. Rex swimming in the lake, sunset photos from my deck, books I was reading, dinners I cooked for myself. The responses were different too. Colleagues from work, former classmates, neighbors from Chicago I barely knew, people who actually saw me, not my relationship to someone else. Sarah commented on a photo of Rex. "He's beautiful. You look happy." I didn't respond immediately. When I did, 3 days later, I just said, "I am." A week later, she texted, "Can we talk? Not about family stuff, about you. I want to understand what I missed." I stared at the text for a long time. "What do you want to understand?" I texted back. "Everything, your work, your house, your life. I realized I don't know anything about who you actually are. That's a long conversation. I have time." For the first time in years, I believed she might. Sarah drove up on a Saturday in June. I watched her Honda pull into my driveway and felt something I hadn't expected. Nervousness. She got out of the car slowly, looking around at the pine trees, the lake, the deck where I'd been drinking my morning coffee for 6 months. She was dressed casually, jeans, northwestern sweatshirt, sneakers. I couldn't remember the last time I'd seen her in anything but professional clothes. "Wow," she said, walking up the steps to my front door. "This is beautiful, Alex." Rex bounded out to greet her, tail wagging, and she knelt down to pet him. "And who's this handsome guy?" "Rex, he's my roommate and security system. He's perfect." She looked up at me. "You look good, really good." I made coffee and we sat on the deck. The lake was calm, reflecting the morning sky like a mirror. "I brought something," Sarah said, pulling a manila folder from her bag. "I've been going through old photos and I found these." She handed me the folder. Inside were dozens of pictures I'd never seen before. Me at various ages in various settings, but not the formal family photos where I stood slightly off to the side. These were candid shots, me reading to our dog when I was 8, me helping Dad fix the garage door when I was 16, me giving a toast at Sarah's law school graduation that I didn't remember anyone photographing. Where did these come from? Mum's closet. She has boxes and boxes of them. Pictures she took but never put in albums. Sarah's voice was quiet. Pictures of you being you. I stared at a photo of myself at my college graduation. I was laughing at something someone had said, diploma in one hand, the other hand shading my eyes from the sun. I looked genuinely happy. "I don't remember this being taken." "Mom took it. She took a lot of them, but she never showed them to anyone, not even you." Another photo, me at my first apartment, not posing with keys but unpacking books, completely absorbed in organizing my bookshelf. Why didn't she share these? Sarah was quiet for a long time. I think she was afraid. Of what? Of admitting that she'd been seeing you all along, but not acknowledging it. Sarah pulled out another folder. "This is harder to show you." Inside were printouts of newspaper articles, blog posts, LinkedIn updates, every mention of my work for the past 5 years, every award, every quoted appearance, every published article. Someone had been following my career obsessively. Mom, she reads everything you write. She Google alerts your name. She knew about the Northwestern lecture before you posted about it." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "She just didn't know how to tell you." I felt something break open in my chest. Not forgiveness, not yet, but understanding. Why couldn't she just talk to me? Because admitting she was wrong would mean facing how much she'd hurt you. And Mum's never been good at being wrong. We sat in silence, watching the lake. A family of ducks paddled by, the mother leading a line of fuzzy ducklings. "I need you to know something," Sarah said finally. "I was jealous of you." "Of me?" "You were always so sufficient. You didn't need constant validation like I did. You just did your work and did it well and seemed content with that. I thought you didn't need the attention. I needed it. I just learned to live without it. That's not healthy either." She was right. "What do you want, Sarah, from this conversation? From us?" "I want to know my brother." The real version, not the convenient version I've been seeing for 30 years. She hesitated, and I want you to know that I'm proud of you. I should have said that years ago. Are you? Alex, you bought a house with cash, landed a professorship at one of the best universities in the country, and created a life that makes you genuinely happy. Of course I'm proud of you. But you didn't know about any of those things until recently. No, but I know now, and I want to know more. She pulled out her phone. Tell me about your classes. Tell me about your students. Tell me about this house and Rex and what you do for fun now. So I did. For 3 hours we talked about my work, my research, my plans for the university program. She asked intelligent questions, took notes, seemed genuinely interested in the details. As she was leaving, she hugged me, really hugged me, not the quick, obligatory family hug I was used to. Thank you, she said. For what? For not giving up on being worth knowing. After her car disappeared down the driveway, I sat on the deck with Rex and processed what had happened. Not reconciliation, that would take time, but recognition. Finally, recognition. My phone buzzed, a text from Mom. Sarah told me about her visit. Could I come see you sometime? I have some things I need to say. I stared at the message for a long time, then I typed back, next Saturday, 2 p.m. Bring photos. 1 year later, I'm hosting my first birthday party in Michigan. Not a big celebration, just the people who matter. Mike drove up from Chicago with his wife and kids. Dr. Chen and 2 colleagues from Northwestern made the trip. My neighbors Janet and Bob brought homemade pie. My teaching assistant Maria surprised me by flying in from Seattle. And sitting at my kitchen island, helping arrange flowers while Rex supervises from his favorite spot by the sliding door, is Sarah. These look perfect, she says, stepping back to admire the bouquet. Mom would love them. Mom couldn't make it today, she's having minor surgery next week, but she sent a card with a long handwritten note and a check for exactly $82,000. For your next house fund, the note said, or your first sabbatical, or whatever makes you happy. You've never needed our money, but you should know it's there if you want it. The card was signed, Love, your very proud mother. Dad called this morning to wish me happy birthday.